All right. So this is a brief, just kind of working through the frustrations of the Outback Bowl live video segment. I have a few comments sent in by Delvin, and John is busy at the moment, and so I'm going to just go ahead and do a little chit chat myself. I just turned it on, so hopefully we will be joined by some audience members who can send in comments and questions and so forth, and we'll just kind of work through how things went a little bit. I'm going to open another, and I'm just doing this right now for the benefit of people who are watching later. I'm going to go, I just sent out a tweet with the link, so if anybody wants to join us, that would be cool. I'm going to open up another I'm going to try to open up another window to bring up the box score. Let's see, that would be Auburn, Minnesota Vikings. So it looked like we were playing. And let's have the box score if they've got it up already. Doesn't look like the. Wait, is that it? Is that it? Let's see. Yeah, there it is. They've already got it up. Okay. I don't want the game summary. I'm looking for like the box score, but I guess there it is. I'm waiting. Okay. Man, there's going to be some eye-popping information on there. All right, so let's see what folks are saying. Chase, yeah, we looked flat, not up for the game, no doubt about it. I mean, and yet the funny thing is that the announcers the entire game kept saying that, oh, they're motivated, they're up for it, they're really so it's hard to get a read on that because on the one hand, it didn't seem like it, did it? It didn't seem like they were really up for anything but getting pushed around. And that was, and as James says, yeah, it was pretty deflating. I mean, this is the same feeling that I had after the 2014 season's bowl game when we lost in overtime to Wisconsin. John and I talked about that a little bit on last Monday's show, that we really wanted that group of seniors led by Nick Marshall to go out with a bang, with a win. And instead we
thought we lost everything in that fire. But my independent agent,
this is what happens when you have the ESPN website open in the background. Yeah, I wanted that group of seniors to go out with a win. And once again, we don't get the 10 wins. We don't get to send Derek and Marlon and them out with on a high note, and it's extremely depressing. I didn't expect our D-line to be dominated either, Ross. I hear you. I know. And yeah, Red S is surprised the O and the D were completely manhandled in this game. That's true. I mean, I think Brandon said it a little while ago, is that we lost that game in the trenches. They were pushed around at the line of scrimmage on both sides of the ball. We could very rarely get the running game going. And I'll get to your rest of your comments in just a minute, but here is what I felt like in the second half. I felt like I knew what was going to come in the second half. I felt like at the halftime, the offensive line once again was going to say, we don't want to be pushed around like this. We want to get together and make a statement. Let's go out there and run the ball, right? And, lack of opportunities was as big of a problem as anything in the first half, is we just didn't have the ball all that much between them, kind of their strategy of leeching the life out of the game as they did, plus the fact that, a couple of the reasons that we didn't have the ball that much in the first half was good. We ran a kickoff back, which put our defense back on the field, or we got an interception and did a 3-play drive and kicked a field goal, which put our defense back on the field. So in the first half, I felt like we're not on the field enough on offense, but there's some reasons for it. In the second half, there was no reason. The second half, they did that anaconda thing. They just slowly squeezed the life out of the game. When they got the ball back with like 7 minutes to go, I'm thinking, we've got to get a stop here or they're going to end this drive taking a knee. And that's exactly what happened, thanks to a couple of really miraculous plays that they pulled off. So what I thought was going to happen was at halftime, I got the new computer thanks to the patrons, and it just keeps making that noise. Oh, Jared is asking if let's see. Jared says, "What time?" And I'm saying, "Right frickin' now, kid." I thought we were going to go out in the second half and try to run the ball. The problem is our offensive strategy seems to be all of one thing or all the other, right? We either come out and just try to run the ball, try to run the ball and punt, or we come out and throw. There's not a cohesive strategy, it seems like. And I mean, I may be completely wrong, but it just, to me as a layperson watching all these years, it just seems like there's not a cohesive strategy. It's like, oh, well, now we decided we're going to run the ball, so we just run. Oh, wait, well, you know what? That didn't work, so now we're just going to throw the ball, throw. Oh, you know what? Let's try the hurry up. So hurry up, and then stop and start switching out personnel again. So, all right, now let's see. How do I? Okay, I'm going to try something here, gang. I'm going to try to invite a special guest. John is busy today, and he absolutely deserves to do his own thing during the holidays. That is no problem at all. But I'm going to try to get us in a special guest, and we'll see what happens here. Anyway, so let's catch up on some comments of you guys. That was my feeling in the game. Was in the second half, we were going to try to make an effort to run. And if that didn't work, then we've basically given up the third quarter for that. And now we're down to the fourth quarter. But, you know, kind of like with the Florida game, it was a long offensive play in the fourth quarter that kind of was the nail in the coffin. Let's see, just some other comments. James Taylor says PJ Fleck should be on our sidelines. I don't love him that much, honestly. They got crushed by Wisconsin and they lost another game. And maybe it was just we did it all for the coconut shrimp. And that was a business trip where you lost a client you had for 20 years. They've had me for a lot longer than 20 years. And they didn't lose me, but it didn't help. That's why I'm on here right now, is to try to recover. Let me ask Jared, did you get it? I also asked Delvin to come on, but I was going to have a little group, but Delvin is at the game, so he's unavailable. So maybe one of my little group I was trying to get is available. I'm keeping one eye. Let's see what GB Sports says. Why did defensive ends just think of tight ends just letting them go and don't cover them? Well, I had a lot of questions about how we covered their receivers in that game, honestly. Minnesota was not a bunch of slow bellies a la Purdue. I said, I wrestled with this because I did say on the last couple of shows that when we play an out-of-conference team that's of any quality at all, other than Purdue, I was thinking about the Louisville game at the beginning of 2015. I was thinking about the Wisconsin game in 2014. I was thinking about Central Florida, Oklahoma. We always say, oh, it's going to be a blowout. We're going to kill them, War Eagle. And that's great. Excuse me, except it very rarely comes to pass. Not very often is our opponent in a bowl game that Purdue team. I wish, after we played Purdue, and we were at that game in Nashville, after we played Purdue, I said, man, I wish we could play this Purdue team all 12 games next year. I just wish they were our entire schedule. So let's see. The really term of the King let me down. King let me down, and I was very disappointed. I don't know why he thought it was a great idea to go diving for that muff punt. Exactly, Hugh. I know. It did feel like that punt return really changed the momentum. That's right. Yeah, we had the ball back. Let's see. Ross says, I think the O-line is the blame for that. Bo is consistently pressured. And there was little to no push. Oh, I agree. Oh, hold on. We've got our guest co-host today. There he is.
Well, hello, everyone. It's Jared Albrecht, the art sale artist here from the Long Box Crusade Network with your Auburn superhero. I'm pissed the hell off battles.
It's like I pulled the little string and that just came right out. It was amazing.
Yeah, except I got pissed off at the end.
All right. I got to run and get a drink real quick. I forgot to get one. So tell the folks what your reaction was as the guy. I got that exact cup.
Hey,
But I got to go get a hot drink. Hold on one second. You take over for just a second.
all right.
Audience.
I'll try not to. Okay, folks. I suppose we're here to commiserate with one another in today's show. Whew, what can I say? Well, you know what? I'm proud of the boys overall. I honestly think that, as we saw in the UCF game a couple years ago, I think other teams get up more to play us than we do those other teams. Honestly, and I hate to make this comparison with our little sister school across the state, but I honestly think if we'd gotten that draw, that we would have handed Michigan their tails.
Yeah,
but you guys have said stuff on the Wishbone that I wholeheartedly agree with. It's the smaller team punching up that has the advantage a lot of times in these games. And, we shouldn't succumb to it. That's not an excuse. Very surprised in the lackluster performance by our defense. But I'll tell you the main reason I'm salty. I'm not salty at the Auburn Tigers. I'm not salty at the coaching staff. I think Minnesota brought their A-plus game. And there's nothing wrong to losing somebody with an A-plus game. What there is something wrong with, though, is losing to somebody who's their A-plus game because, A, the refs gave them a touchdown that was not a touchdown, and B, the refs totally let them get away with hosing us on our trick play. You turn either of those calls around and Auburn wins that football game, and that is what I'm salty about. I hate having to beat a great other team and the guys in black and white.
Yeah, those are good points. That's very good points. True. And I just pointed this out on Twitter, but I got a little banner thing so I can throw it up here. That's the record of the 3 teams we lost to.
I saw that tweet, and I liked that tweet. And then I did the foolish thing and read the comments in that tweet.
Reading comments anywhere, I've always said, it's like picking broken glass and just rubbing
it in your eyes. It's like, here, all right, I'm going to go on a rant for a second. Relax, get another drink. Here's the thing that bugs me about the anti-Gus movement. I mean, if you're anti-Gus, that's okay. I'm not going to tell you how to live. I'm not going to tell you what to believe. But it's like they love it when we lose. And I cannot get on board with anyone who loves it when we lose. I just can't.
I've said that all along. Yes.
If you've got a Gus hatred and you're salty because we lost this game and you blame it on Gus, that's fine. That's fine. I'm not judging you for that. But to use that as your immediate coping mechanism, frankly, I find disgusting.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I understand being frustrated with him. I've pointed out many a time that I was willing to part ways with him the second game of 2016. So he's bounced up and down with me since then.
Mm-hmm.
But I haven't been a 100% no, we have to keep him forever guy since the start of the 2016 season. That being said, if your entire Auburn experience currently revolves around, see, Gus sucks.
Yeah. If you're experience,
Gus sucks. Get a life, man. You're worse than a Trekkie, at a freaking Shatner appearance. Get a life. Find something you enjoy rather than just living to be bitter and hate. You know what I'm saying?
Yes, exactly. If your first instinct is to say, ooh, my hatred was right. Hooray for you. Your doom and gloom perspective wins the day. Yeah. I can't get on board. The sad part is, man, if you had known me a few years ago, you wouldn't have liked me because I think I was one of those people. I was a very negative fan, and it's through my longtime friendship with Delvin Williams that he's made me a better fan. So I'm glad I've left that Jared behind. I left him behind about 10 years ago, and I'm not looking back.
I like the Craig T. Nelson thing here. It's very well.
That's funny. That is a funny comment. Tricky D 1180.
Better than the Vikings. Well, Delvin had a couple of comments here. I texted him too, see if he wanted to join us. And he said, I liked your post about teams we lost to. It says we were good, not great this year. I think that's fair. I think we were fairly I don't know if we were a great defensive team. We were an almost great defensive team and kind of a mediocre offensive team that just never found its way.
Mhm.
He said, all right, that was me. He says, which I can live with for this year. We were out-coached this game and could not catch up with their wrinkles. They offered nothing we hadn't seen before. They just did it better. We played flat. We put forth a professional effort, but there was no passion there. Well, what do you think? Was that a professional effort with no passion, or do you agree or disagree?
I will agree with Delvin for about 75% of the game. I saw the passion and the fun happen early, like in the third quarter when we came out and decided to play some real football. When I saw those big stops, fourth down stop was huge. Even though, I swear the commentators, maybe it's just I'm tainted by all commentators, but I swear that they were just up there going, God, I hate Auburn. It's like every single thing was like, well, I don't know. And then like when our guy did get blatantly held on the trick play, they never even really replayed it. They only replayed the very end of it, where the guy, by the time the guy had basically let go, and they're like, oh, he just touched him. I'm like, no, you didn't play the whole play.
Yeah. Oh, exactly.
Yeah. I was like, you could make me sick. But then again, I think I have a disdain for all commentators.
And they don't help themselves in their cause either, because I'm always very suspicious of that. When people talk about how, that commentator's horrible, they just hate Auburn.
Yeah.
My first reaction is, if you were for the other team, you'd probably be saying the same thing.
That's fair.
You know what I'm saying? So I'm always, like when people talk about Gary Danielson, the thing with Gary Danielson, though, for example, is he is a total fanboy for certain coaches. It's not that he roots for the team, but he has a lot of respect and admiration that gushes forth over somebody like a Nick Saban. That doesn't make him an Alabama fan, and it doesn't make him anti-Auburn. It's just that he really goes, when Alabama, the magic food door appears.
I got snacks.
It's amazing how that I've seen happen in the shows before. How Jared will be just sitting there mentally going, I'm kind of hungry, and that magic food door goes, and the food appears.
Not gonna be a bad day, folks. It's a good day.
I need me a magic food door. That is the coolest thing.
But your point is well made. I can honestly say that probably every team. I mean, I've met plenty of Bama fans that hate Gary Danielson. It's like,
yeah. If you're an Alabama fan, you hate Gary Danielson.
Maybe he just has a very punchable face.
I don't know. We won't be around much longer because ESPN's going to have, unless they hire him over. Hugh makes a good point. Twitter and the AU mailing list are terrible places to be right now. Yeah, well, again, because that's where you find a lot of the folks that just want to. Now, I thought this was interesting. Mr. Null 13 says, I work with one of those people. She was debating if she wanted us to win the Iron Bowl or not.
It's not an Auburn fan. It's not an Auburn fan.
I have because, I mean, if you go back, see, the younger fans now don't realize there were people that said that about Pat Dye. There, God knows, were people that said that about Barfield before that. There were people saying, Suge's too old, needs to go, which is probably true. But then, Terry Bowden's terrible. Tuberville, man, he can't win the big game. He's got to go. We're running out of coaches at that point. Why we even hired Chiswick? Gus, why we pick him? There's never been an Auburn coach that's pleased them. Mm-hmm. It's always like, the current guy we have sucks. We got to get him out the door so we can go ahead and get an early start on hating the next one.
Yes. I've heard you make this point on the show before, and I concur. Again, I think it boils down to people who just use the negativity and the losses to assuage their pain. I really believe that. I believe by saying, perfect example was the earlier commenter, I don't really know if I even want us to win the Iron Bowl. You're just setting yourself up for a softer hit if we lose. And I got no time for that. Go in with a gotta win, gonna win attitude, or I got no time for you. That's it.
Tricky says, I wasn't a fan of the Gus hire, would be classified as a hater even before it was popular, but the stupid arguments the current crowd has converted me.
So there's a guy who didn't want to like Gus, but the negative guys, he just couldn't take it anymore.
Stay tuned, because I've had to put it off a couple of times. I've been poor John's been wanting to do shows, and I've been having to say, we got to delay it. And now when I get a chance to do video, he's not available. So it's all my fault. But our next episode will be the trial of Gus Malzahn 2.0. So in our next episode, we're going to continue kind of where we left off last year with just looking at his resume, the positives and negatives. That was a very popular show that we did last year. A lot of people said it made them think about it more, maybe change their mind. I put a lot of research. John asked me to go through and look for to look at how our previous coaches have won or have lost games they shouldn't have lost. And I think that the answers are going to surprise you, because when I put, you can say Auburn should have been better than 9-4 this year. That's fine. But when I put this up here, I'm having a hard time saying, well, this is the one where, we just, we barfed on ourselves, right? I'm having a hard time looking at that resume right there and saying, oh man, how did we ever lose to that team? You know what I mean? Yeah. So we're going to go back into the 80s and the 90s and the aughts, and I'm going to show you some times that might surprise you guys. I did want to add one thing while let's see.
He's typing.
I'm going to leave this one up for future.
That'll come in handy at some point again, I'm certain. I mean, I can open it and request a dessert if you want to see it happen again.
Awesome. We all need that.
The commentators themselves pointed out something interesting in this game as well. Let's be honest. We saw LSU schedule the highly touted Ohio State for their homecoming game and just beat the pants off of them. Ridiculous. And then, as the commentators mentioned in this game, we're the team that held them to like 20-something points. We were in it to the fourth quarter. We were in their house at their key time of day. Yeah. I mean, they had everything, and we came so close. And I get that's why people would be frustrated with those losses, because put the numbers back up. Each and every one of those, we were in that dang game. There was no reason to lose that dang game.
Oh yeah,
and those are the worst kind of losses, because it hurts so bad, because you sit there for, like, if we're getting blown out by the end of the first half, I'm like, turned it off, gonna go play a board game with the family. I'm not gonna sit here and be mad.
Let's see. I think the Florida one was actually the worst one, just because their running back had that long run at the end that was kind of meaningless. Otherwise, it was like 17-14 or something like that. Mm-hmm. And then, but the LSU was 3.
Yep.
Georgia was 7, and we were driving at the end.
No, I can't point. They're on your side. I can't point to the numbers.
and this one was 7.
Yeah.
So let's see. Here's an interesting point. The loss probably closed off any possibility of alternative uniforms in the future. Well, I'll just bang my head at that, because I mean, I've always been. I don't want to change the uniforms willy-nilly, not for the entire season, but I've always said, changing one thing for one game.
Go on.
Is that magic food door food good?
It's good. Go on. Right.
Changing, one thing for one game. Like, I would love something like they did with the helmets today.
Exactly.
That for the homecoming game against like Jacksonville or something. I mean, what's wrong with that? I know there's some people there were people on Twitter that were pitching a fit that we put Sullivan 7 on the side of the helmets. I'm just like,
I got no time for those people.
There's no hope for that. Yeah.
No, if you didn't watch the release video from Auburn about that, and I watched it. If you watch it and it didn't hit you emotionally and you weren't pumped to see those 7s on the helmets, then
absolutely,
I got no time for you.
Absolutely, it was great. Burner accounts always cracks me up. Yeah, we do have too much talent to have to resort. The word looking for is resort to trick plays. I agree. But if it gets to the point, but A, that's kind of our offense. And B, if you're losing and it's the fourth quarter, I'll do they go out there in dresses if they need to, whatever works to get the job done. But no, we shouldn't have been that far down to begin with.
Busted up trick play too. It hurt my heart to see that trick play go wrong.
Yeah.
Well, a couple of them.
I know. Yeah. Throwback kits like Florida did for our game. I know. There's some though that just. I wonder what those people thought when we went from numbers on the side of the helmets to the AU under Suge. Because, we used to be just like Alabama and we had white helmets with numbers and they had red helmets with numbers. And as far as I know, we're the only 2 teams in the country that had the numbers. Maybe Texas did for a while, or Penn State or something. But anyway, Jeff Beard and Suge told Jeff Beard, come up with something to go on the helmet. And you know what Suge wanted on the helmets? And this would have absolutely just blown everything sky high. He wanted an eagle.
Heck yeah. We got one in the studio.
Tiger. We do. Is that where he's hiding out now? No. We're the Tigers, and everything we do is like, War Eagle is something we say, but our thing is a tiger. And we slap an eagle on that helmet, it'd be like,
yeah. It'd be like Alabama putting like the red wave, like Tulane has the green wave on the side. People would be like, what the hell is that?
We would just be trolling the rest of college football at that point.
Yeah.
We would just be trolling the rest. So instead, Beard sat down and took stencils and made the AU, and later they kind of rounded it off and everything. But nothing trendy or Oregon. No, I don't think anybody wants that. And I agree, the helmet was killer. I thought it was great.
Oh yeah.
Look at Happy Newt.
What?
Out to you.
Oh, do you mean this one?
Wow, there we go.
I have magic art doors and magic food doors. This is actually the original. Guy won it on eBay and said he was going to pick it up for me in the holidays because he's from California, but he came home to Andalusia and disappeared. So I have his money and his original. So we'll see what happens with that, folks.
Well, as long as you got the money and the original, you're coming in ahead, I would say.
I'm ahead in this right now. I'd really like to close the deal and make this guy happy, but I hope he's having I hope something didn't go terribly wrong.
No,
anyway,
right.
That's not what the show is about.
Let's see. James says, there comes a time when you shake off your past and become something greater. That is an Auburn issue. They just talk about it. Who's the they? I'm having like Daffy Duck. I'm having pronoun trouble. Maybe I'm just reading too quickly, but I'm sure.
I think he basically saying is we talk about shaking off our past and becoming something greater, but we don't do it. I think that's what he's saying there.
Well, we're so a conservative institution and a conservative fan base, and we're so wrapped up in our great tradition and history, which is one of the things that college football is supposed to be all about.
Mm-hmm.
So you kind of have to balance, right? You kind of have to keep the great traditions and all that, but you also have to have innovation and moving forward and new, and you have to have a balance of that. And some people want it to be 100-0, so I can't be Nick Saban in this narrow confines. I want to do the Nick Saban thing. Well, it was unfair.
It was unfair.
Yeah. So people,
Auburn people. I mean, I love them. I love Auburn people, but
yeah. Well, we're going to wind down here in just a minute. I just needed to clear my head. I was sitting there in the living room and the game was over, and I have no desire to watch the Rose Bowl, the stepdaddy of them all. And I had no desire to do anything else. And I thought, I need to work through some of this frustration. And going on Twitter was not the way to do it. It was not working out for me at all. It was like having a drug problem and opening up a great big old Costco-sized bottle of drugs. So I
want some crack?
go down to the studio and fire up the old.
Man, I tell you, I go to you and John for solace at times like this. And so I went to Twitter and I saw your tweets and I was like, yeah, that's reasonable. I like that. And then I did that stupid thing where I look in the comments. And I'm just like, how do these people just get by from day to day? And I think there's some truth in what I said. I think it's they set themselves up for this so that when the failure does come, it's a softer blow. And I'm like, how are you going to live like that, man? Yeah. You're either all in or you're not.
Well, let's kind of wrap up by one last look at this team and this game in this year. I mean, we were still in it. I felt like there were a couple of times there, honestly, when we didn't get a first down with about 8 minutes to go, I'm not going to say I thought we'll never get the ball back, but there was a little sense in the back of my head that, the way they're moving the ball, the way they're controlling the line of scrimmage, we're not going to have many more chances. And for all that people have said that I've been ragging on this all year, that we wasted a great defense with this offense, I'll just point out the offense never got another chance to show its worth at the end of the game because the defense couldn't stop them.
Yeah, I mean, we had them, and they totally got away with that little loft pass to that big guy on fourth down. I couldn't believe we had a player in the quarterback's face when he threw the ball. Just like every little nuanced thing that had to happen happened for them on that play, and I was just like,
but Jared,
I won't say what I said, but
no kid. That's been the story of our defense this year, is that they I say, it's funny. Our fan base loves this defense so much with reason.
With reason. I love them.
That you dare not say anything critical about them. And I made the mistake of saying before the Iron Bowl that we needed the defense to score. Remember, I was saying the defense
I bought into that. You're right.
And I said the defense is up here. There's no doubt. But I said if we're going to win this game, like it or not, they're going to have to go to here.
You have to turn it up to 11.
I mean, you can say, well, that's not fair. The offense is here and needs to do more. That's sure. It's not fair. But if you want to win, you got to.
Yeah.
And they did. Well, again, this defense all year has been one of those that Derek or Marlon or Big Cat or somebody would be in the face of the quarterback and they'd get the pass off and they'd get it completed, or they'd make a run and get that first down. And this was not a shutdown, shutout defense. It was close. It was very close, but it was never a defense that was going to throw up shutouts and 10 and 7 and 3 and 0 every week. This is a defense that gave up about 20 to 24 points a game to a good team. And the offense had to understand that and score 27 or 30. And they couldn't always do that.
I tell you, I was so bought into your theory that about the end of the second, beginning of the third, somewhere in this game today, I said that to myself. I said, I remember what Van said. I said, if our defense can score just once, we will win this game. Didn't happen.
They did score. I think what we needed, the special team scored.
Defense never scored.
We needed that interception to go into the end zone, because I remember thinking, if we score a touchdown here, I feel good about our chances. If they hold us to a field goal, this is going to be a hard fought game. Sure enough, that's how it played out. Let me catch up here. Go ahead.
I mean, obviously, like you said, I love this defense. You love this defense. You can't leave them on the field for 70% of the game.
Exactly. That's
you just can't. It's unfair.
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly it.
And tip of the cap to the Minnesota Golden Gophers, they know PJ Fleck knows how to call some plays and work a clock. In fact, if you're a Gus hater out there and you want him gone tomorrow and you ask me to sign up PJ Fleck to be our new head coach, I'd sign that right now. He knows how to run a football team. I mean, I've only seen him in one game. Let me not get too carried away, but he impressed the hell out of me today.
I played a game of Sega NCAA football 94 or something, right?
Let's play one now. Let's go to the big board.
Man, I would. And it was like I took the second half kickoff. It's like something from a Tuberville game. I took the second half kickoff and I just started running the Wishbone, the triple option. And I ate up the entire third quarter and part of the fourth quarter with one drive. And I got down the 1 yard line and took a knee and and punched it in, and I won the game with the other team not even getting the ball in the first half.
There was a game under the Tuberville administration where we held the ball the entire third quarter.
South Carolina, yeah. But they had the ball almost the entire fourth quarter and came back. It was crazy. That was a crazy, All right, so Tricky D says, that tweet with the records of the team that beat us, there's your title for the next podcast. Okay, maybe so. And he says, if you choose not to use that, just blame yourself. Okay, I didn't use the soundboard today because I didn't want to feel like going there.
Oh, man, I feel cheated. I'm a big soundboard fan.
I'm not in the soundboard mood right now. Burner Count says, excellent outro music for the show. Yeah, man. Yeah, we I don't know if you heard it yet, but we added new. I was trying to get on Spotify. John and I were trying to get our show on Spotify now, and you have to own your own all the music that you use. So we've thrown out all the stuff that we've been stealing for all the years.
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
And I bought it, and I thought it's pretty cool. So we got a reggae song for the outro and kind of a electric, what do you call it?
This is very, very inside baseball, but for all our shows, the Long Box Crusade, we started migrating to our own stuff about a year and a half ago, and we use my buddy Joe November, who is a music producer and makes beats, and he makes wonderful beats and stuff for podcasts. So if you need me to hook you up with him for more music beats and things of that nature, let me know. He's great. He's really great.
Very good. Tricky says, I think the 2017 defense was better overall than this one. It had some of the same people on it, but I don't remember off the top of my head. But they did go. That was a 10-win team. Went to the They won the SEC. Yeah, that's the one that beat the two number 1 teams and went to the SEC championship game and to the Peach Bowl. Yeah, I keep getting the Sugar Bowl and the Peach Bowl mixed up. And then, 88 will always be the bar. John and I have debated this a bunch too, that there's the 88 defense, and honestly 87 and 89 on either side of it was great. There's the 2004 defense, and
that's my goal. That's my watermark.
Yeah,
04.
yeah. And then there's
2010
this
with Nick Farrelly. It's not as
defense.
Yeah, exactly. It's not as every piece, but it's got some strong pieces.
It had the one piece it needed. Yeah, we had one guy on the defense. Well, I mean, Corey Lemonier was not bad either. But we had the one guy on the defensive line. We had Josh Bynes as a linebacker, and then you just pray it doesn't go over their heads to the defensive backs because it's a touchdown. Cam's going to have to do his thing to get us back. That's why we were always coming from behind in 2010, is because we were always be giving up the 3 long touchdown passes.
That's fair. But 2004 is definitely my watermark.
That was someday we'll get a computer simulation and do the 2004 versus 1998. I'd love it. I'd like a playoff with 98, 04, 10, and 13, a 4-team playoff, and let them all, just both offense, defense, special teams, let them go at it. So, but first game he attended was in 88. My first game I attended was 87. How about that? So that's pretty cool.
Mine was 2000.
2000, is it?
Yeah, I came late to the party, people.
Game over, oops, out of time.
Here's the messed up part. I started going to Auburn in 1995, and my first game as a fan was in 2000.
Hey, man, I've said it many times. We've all have our own paths to get there.
What can I say?
All have our own paths, man. That's right. So, well, I reckon we'll bring. You have any final closing thoughts? I appreciate you coming on in a pinch here.
That's no problem. I guess my final closing thought would be to look back on the entire year. Don't let this game define you. I was pretty angry at the end of this game for about 15 or 20 minutes, but went and found something to do. I listed some things on eBay. Then that kind of calmed me down, and then you text me about this. But the main point is, you'd be mad about the game, sure, but get over it as fast as you can. Look back and see what we did. We didn't do perfection, but we did good. And when you factor in good with a freshman quarterback who's only going to get better, Boobie Whitlow's a sophomore, the future is bright here, people. I'm very optimistic as we move forward.
The offense next year is going to have 4 new 4-star receivers and Tank Bigsby at running back and Mark Anthony Richardson at running back. The guys that we have out there as our main running backs this year will be the backup, basically, next year. Bo will be back. Well, hopefully the new quarterback will be, we need a backup. Lord knows. I hold my breath every time Bo runs.
I got to jump in. I don't know if you saw this on Twitter or someone said, we got Tank, Boobie, Smoke. Did someone get a hold of my old NCAA, 1998 player rosters that I made and bring it to real life?
You made up, right. It's true.
I'm sorry, I interrupted your final thought, but that cracked me up when I saw it.
We got King and Prince, and there was another one we were working on too there. So we had a president for a while. Anyway, all right. Well, we're going to wrap things up and get on out of here. And I guess John and I will be back for our regular show on Monday. And I'm going to be recording with Alan J. Porter and I think Jim Yelton, 2 of my regulars for the White Rocket show. We're going to be doing The Mandalorian on Thursday night. So Friday morning.
Italian guitarist.
Yeah. Captain Corelli's Mandalorian. Oh, I never thought of that one.
That's what I'm here for. I give you inspiration.
It's a touching story of Nicolas Cage and the Spanish actress and the bounty hunter that came between them with his baby Yoda.
Penelope Cruz, I think, was in that.
Penelope Cruz, yeah. Nicolas Cage, Penelope
Cruz, and
baby Yoda.
One of Boba Fett's relatives.
That's it. All right, man. We're going to get out of here, and we'll take it easy. We'll talk to you soon.
Or Eagle John.
Bye, guys. Thanks.